Hi, everyone. Thanks for taking the time to watch this. Working through a little series on storytelling, and guess that kind of comes with being a little open about storytelling about me. So, um, if you're watching this, I don't know how much value you're going to grab from it, but hopefully a little bit. Um, So currently, I'm working in the mortgage industry, and right now, this is an industry that's going through some pretty unique things. And before I got into the mortgage industry, though, I actually had experience in two other industries that went through a really tough time during the pandemic, and thought that it would be worthwhile to maybe share a little bit about what that experience was like and some of the takeaways that I had from that in case it will help to encourage one of my friends in the mortgage industry now who might be experiencing some or going through something pretty unique. And not that it's the same what is going on, but I do believe in transferable experiences. Things that you learn in one part of your life can definitely add knowledge and wisdom to experiences in a different part of your life. So, on the side, I currently am a group fitness instructor, and I've been doing this now for almost 9 years, 8, 9 years now. Oh my gosh, I don't even know anymore. I would have to go back and look. How I got started in that industry as a group fitness instructor is actually a very kind of sad story. Yeah, it's pretty pathetic. It's not really something I'd want to share on a platform like this. But if we ever got into a one-on-one conversation and you wanted to know, I'd share with you how I got into this industry. How I got into being a group fitness instructor, though, that wasn't why I decided to stay in it. I had to very quickly, very early in that experience, find a new why. And that's what's kept me going, is that new why. It wasn't about that original decision to stay in, but it became about what I was getting out of the experience. And that is what kept me going in that industry, and what's kept me going through all of it. I have some notes here, so if I look down, that's what I'm doing, is I'm checking my notes. But there were some truth nuggets that I've learned in these several years as an instructor. Thought might be kind of fun to share. Rule number one, truth nugget number one is, as the group fitness instructor, you do not have to be the most fit person in the room. Thank goodness. If we ever met in person, you'd probably be like, she's a group fitness instructor. I am. I don't have to be the most chiseled, the most buff person in the room. That's not my job. I do get the benefits of physical exercise, but it's not my class. They're there. I'm there to give them the experience. It's their job to go full out, not mine. And it's my role to give them the space to go as full out as they want, as a client would want, or maybe that's not what they're there for. And I need to respect that too. And that kind of brings me into truth nugget number two, is that I just need to show up as who I really am, my true self. And you know what? That took me some time to learn. It took me some time to learn who Mary Jo as a group fitness instructor is. Who is that person that I need to show up for every time and be every time. And of course, if you're your true self, you don't have to try very hard to be that. That's pretty easy. But it does take some time to discover that person, and you have to give yourself that time. You have to give yourself time to discover the person that you really are, and then show up as that person every time, and then have the courage to provide in the time that you have with that class, whether it's 30 minutes or an hour. Have the courage to give your clients that space for them to work out why they are there. because they're not always there to lose weight. Most people are not there to lose weight. They're not there to get shredded or whatever. They may be going through something. They need some group support. They may just need a mental break from something. It's my role, my job to transform the physical environment that they experience. And I do that through different music, different moves, different choreography. I set the mood and the tone for the class. And then it's my job to give them the space to experience it and and choose how engaged they want to be, and then accept that. And you'll just be amazed. I'm always amazed at how much people respond to that. It's amazing. So anyway, by the time 2020 rolled around, I was leading 12 to 15 classes a week. And at this time, I had an 11-year-old, an 8-year-old, 6-year-old, and 2 4-year-old twins. So I was leading 12 to 15 classes a week during their school hours. And I had 5 young children. Obviously, that was not sustainable. I was very tired and very sore all the time, but I couldn't say no. Like I loved my members. I loved going around and being a guest instructor at different events. I loved that. I loved meeting new people, and I loved the formats that I was teaching, but it was not sustainable. And I knew something had to give, but I just couldn't walk away on my own. I knew I needed to cut back a little bit, but I didn't know how to do that or how to prioritize which classes to cut, which gyms I would have to turn down to make that happen. And luckily, I guess I didn't have to make that decision. It was made for me because, as we all know, that Friday the 13th, that kind of broke the world in 2020. The pandemic shut down the gyms overnight. And my work as a group fitness instructor just came to a complete stop, I thought, in the way I had traditionally understood it, overnight. And for 6 months where I live, the gyms stayed completely shut down without any kind of, they were just done. However, I needed the experience of working out just because I always called it my sanity hours. And it's just healthy to work out, not too much, but I needed something. And my members were reaching out to me. They missed me. They missed each other. And so, the pandemic just sort of completely changed my experience as with the fitness industry. First of all, it forced me to prioritize my goals as an instructor, and to discover who I was outside of being an instructor. So I had wanted to cut back because it wasn't sustainable. And this gave me that chance to figure out what it was that I really wanted to go, what I really wanted to do. And I had to find new ways to reach my clients. They were reaching out to me. They needed something, and I needed to get creative. So I needed to find a new way to reach and communicate with my clients, and that led to creating online formats, a private Facebook group, for example, where I would lead 30-minute classes 3 days a week. I did because that was really all, with 5 kids being home all the time now from everything being shut down. 30 minutes was about their attention span that I could get uninterrupted to lead a 30-minute class. So, but not all of the formats that I taught were transferable to an online format for licensing, copyright purposes. So I had to become creative at finding new formats to teach. New blends of new fusions is what I called them, new fusions of exercises to deliver the same caliber, or as best I could, of service and for my clients, so that they were still enjoying and being challenged from where they were. And also it gave them a place to be a community again. So yeah, that was new opportunities opened up, in terms of that. Had to become creative. The demand was still there, the need was still there. I just had to find how to leverage my knowledge and experience, and become a little bit more bold in serving. After 6 months, the gym started opening back up again. There were so many rules and regulations, and it absolutely changed how I taught in class, because we had to work out with masks on. And so that's dangerous if you're working out, and you cannot get the oxygen in. So my choreography and how I approached classes at the beginning when the gym started opening back up was also different. And we worked outside if we could. We worked out outside if we could, so we didn't have to wear the mask, but if we didn't want to. Yeah, so as the gyms opened back up, also by that point, my life had completely changed. It was, I was now a single mother. I was trying to establish a life and adjust to my new reality, and do that without having to make a big public statement about it. In fact, I still haven't. A few years later, I still haven't. And that's just my choice for where I live, and wanting to make sure that my children can still function in my community, I guess. I don't know. It's just how I've chosen how to go about it. But my life had completely changed by the time the gyms had opened back up. And that pause when they were shut down, that gave me the space that I needed to reorder my approach as an instructor. So I knew I wanted to go back. I knew I wanted to teach back in the gyms. I couldn't do it to the capacity that I was at before. I couldn't do 12 to 15 classes a week. Also, that was not offered at the time. I was lucky to teach one class a week because the gyms were open on such short hours, and people were still very afraid to come back. So they were still very wary of being together in groups. And so the demand wasn't quite there yet. And that was okay. So I got to rebuild one class at a time. And, that also gave me the chance, as the industry began to try to stabilize, to build a more sustainable teaching model. One that allowed me to put boundaries around my schedule and my goals. And it allowed me to limit my engagement to a point. It's where I was always giving my best yes. So when I said, yes, I can do this, I knew that I really could without it infringing upon or taking away from something else. So that is a good takeaway from what happened. Also, another interesting thing about the fitness industry is that the cycle has not returned. Before the pandemic, you could set your watch to it. The gyms, January 1st, were going to be flooded with gym newbies, and classes were going to be tripled in size, maybe even quadrupled. People were motivated. They were ready to work off the holidays. By March, those numbers had significantly dwindled back down to your core class members. Maybe a couple had really bought into it and established a new routine and stuck with it. But for the most part, the core members that you had the year before were the ones still there in March the next time that calendar rolled around. As the summer would come around, your classes would get more lean as people were dropping out here and there to go to do summer vacations and stuff. So, but they would always be back in the fall. But of course, in the fall, you've now got holidays, lots and lots of holidays starting to come up between in that last quarter of the year. And so, again, numbers were here and there, gyms shut down for holidays, that kind of stuff. So that classes were always impacted there. But you could always count on that rebuilding the first quarter of the year, and then it would start to sort of peter out as the year went through. But that cycle has not returned. There is no huge boom in January anymore. It's pretty much the core. The people who were part of the classes before the pandemic, they are the only ones there now. And that's because that's because of the relationships that you build with people. They really do mean something, and they really carry through. And so I'm very, very blessed to have the members that I do now. I'm up to teaching 3 classes a week now, and that is doable. That is it feeds my soul as an instructor. It gives me that creative outlet that I crave and need to express myself and my creativity. And it also allows me plenty of opportunity to meet new people and to still be able to fulfill the obligations and the goals that I have set for myself outside of that. So I will share another video tomorrow. I think that was a lightning bug up in the daytime that just flew by. I'll share a new video tomorrow about my experience in another industry during the pandemic that experienced a big change, and how the lessons that I learned from that as well. But anyway, I hope this helped for you to get to know me a little bit better, who I am, and hopefully my experience in what I've been through in the fitness industry and those changes speak to you, and perhaps some things that you're going through too. All right, see you tomorrow. On the stop button.